we go. Check everything real quick so you can talk, Grant, if you want to.
Check.
1 second. We're streaming on Twitch, X, Rumble, and YouTube. Waiting on you. All right, we're good. All right, let me go check everything, Grant.
Oh, hey, Rumble, we got Dan Bongino and Charlie Kirk on the show. You can go ahead and put us at the top.
Yeah, let me change Twitch out. Okay, gaming.
Oh, wait, Steve Bannon too? Oh, wow, we're going to have all three of them on here?
Yeah. Okay, done with that. Twitch is good. Let's go to X or YouTube. Let's go to YouTube, Grant. Let's go to that YouTube. All right, let me edit that. Put the thumbnail in, buddy. Okay. Top 10 gaming consoles of all time, Grant.
Oh, man.
Our personal opinion.
Yes, please put that in there. Otherwise, we'll be like, what?
Yeah. Top gaming consoles. Okay.
Ed, I got a question for you.
What's up?
Have you done your civic duty yet?
We are going after the kids get back from school.
I gotcha.
Okay. Do. That's good. All right, I'm gonna save this.
I went and voted this morning, and it was nobody in line.
Yeah, that's how we are too. But our early voting goes in Florida until like November 3rd, and then it skips a day, and then you go to the general election.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. Let me check this out on X. And get this shit going, buddy. All right. Manage videos. Yeah. There we go. Copy that.
Waiting for the crew to show up.
Oh, crew.
Wait for my camera to go out.
Yeah, your camera's going to go out here soon, I bet.
It just did.
Well, fix it, buddy.
I am. There we go. Oh.
Look at you.
I have no idea what's going on with this thing. I'll fix it.
What's that?
I said I'll fix it. It's pretty bad when the backup camera is worse than the actual camera.
Yeah, this is going to be a quick one, though. We're just doing top 10.
I might have to pull out old Trusty, Ed.
Oh, Trusty. Talk about that. God, don't do that.
I'm going to have to pull out my old Tandy 1000 camera.
Look at you. All right. We are live there.
Gotta have video, man.
Well, bring that old thing back, buddy. Okay.
I'm about to go buy a camera because I paid $18 for this one, and I got $18 worth.
That's insane.
All right, be prepared because this is an 8K camera, so you'll see like
8K. No, it's not. Don't even lie to him.
It's gonna be an 8K camera. It's gonna be like the most
don't
in-depth.
Even lie to him.
There we go. What happened? What?
You good?
8K. It's like
8K, blurry as hell.
It's like looking through a kaleidoscope.
Blurry as hell. Let's see.
I'm about to cut down. Let me reduce some of this light.
All right. I think we're good on everything, Grant.
All right, there we go. I had to reduce some of the light. Now my head doesn't look shiny.
There you go. Let's see. Yep, we're good for that. Good live. Live, buddy.
I feel like this is like
Feel like what?
I feel like this is like 480p. I need to like. Let me see if I
Well,
can
don't
fix
mess
it.
with it now. We're about to start.
I mean, I'm trying to get some. Yeah, that's about right.
You sure?
It says it's 720p, but I don't buy that.
You don't?
Looks like I'm looking through a Coca-Cola bottle. Like, maybe my lens is blurry. That's too late. Fuck it, let's do it.
Let me tweet this Rumble link out real quick, and we're gonna go.
I wonder if he's gonna retweet it.
Say we have Charlie Kirk and Dan Bongino on the show.
Steve Bannon, Donald Trump's here too.
Okay. Okay, we're live.
Tell them we're hosting one last presidential debate before the polls close.
Okay. We got that. We got that. And we got that. Okay. We're good. Let me close this. And close that. All right, Grant. We're ready to go, boy.
Let's
We're ready
go.
to rock and roll.
Let's do
This
it.
is going to be a short podcast. We're going to just give our top 10 due to the election.
Yeah.
People can get out there and vote if they are. Or if you're not, then whatever. But we're going to make this a short podcast.
We advise you to vote.
Yeah, go exercise that right.
That's right.
Go exercise that right.
Speaking of exercise.
Speaking of exercise, what?
I don't know. I don't know where I was going with it.
All right, let's start, Grant.
All right, let's do it.
All right, going to intro now.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Grant Rowland here with the DMG Gaming Podcast. And as always, I am joined by the CEO for the White Dudes for Harris, my boy, Ed Phillips. What up, my boy?
Man, you going to drop me down like that?
Man, you making fun of my camera. You deserve it.
Golly. You just jumped off the top rope, dude.
That's what I did. That's what it is. What you get for making fun of my camera?
What's wrong with you?
My camera. Don't make fun of my camera or my forehead.
You actually look like Kirby now.
I know.
You're all pink and stuff.
I know, so I look extra puffy.
All right. But yeah, don't put that evil on me. Damn, dude, that's messed up.
He's got a hat and everything, and a pin. I saw his lapel pin.
No, we do not. Not in this household.
Lapel pin.
Okay. Grant.
What's up, man?
All right, so I've been playing Dragon Age. Still not done, but I'll be done by Friday.
We'll be done by Friday.
Official review for Dragon Age, the Veilguard, as we promised by this Friday's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And but we'll go into all that stuff on Friday.
Yeah, we'll wait for Friday. But I do have one question, kind of a spoiler. Has your opinions changed any?
So this is the thing. I really like the game all the way up until you meet Tosh.
Okay.
And then everything is just, it's like
they
just said, you know what? Fuck our game. Let's add this character. And it ruins everything about the fantasy. Because it's a great, to me, I love playing the class, the champion class.
Uh-huh.
It's just all about slamming down and straight in your face melee combat. And there's a scene in where I just did was the Battle of Washer Camper or something. I forget the name of it, but it was a really cool fight scene. There's like a lot of, rah stuff, like it was a pretty cool scene. But then it cuts to Tosh, and it's just a stupid looking fucking character. doesn't belong anywhere in not even in that game. Like, it's that character is just so out of fucking, like, they added her at the last fucking second. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just that character doesn't belong in the game, dude. And everything around that character, in order to fight dragons and like some more bosses and like get treasure to upgrade your fucking gear, you have to do her fucking companion line in order to open up those areas to 100% the game.
Yeah.
So you have to. And when you do the companion line, you don't have the choices you think you have. You can say, oh, whatever, suck it up, but then it's kind of like a real nice version of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that character just doesn't belong in the story. Dude, if they took this character out, I mean, probably the worst RPG character of all fucking time.
Worse than Edward the Bard?
Way worse. At least he had a story towards the end, But this character is just garbage, dude. Like, I think this was really pushed hard by their lead, their Gendermancer lead. You know what I'm talking about? What are you looking at?
I'm reading the chat. The chat.
You say I misgender Toss. Well, she describes herself as a woman in the beginning.
Oh.
In the game. They referred to her as a woman. But then eventually she says, well, I don't feel like a woman. And she has like this bratty attitude. Like, she's a Canary, a fucking dragon slayer. And she has this like fucking new age fucking bratty attitude. Like, it doesn't make fucking sense. So the Gendermancer lead for Dragon Age probably just pushed this character into the story. But if you take this character out and everything encompasses this character in the story, it's a great game, dude. Like, I like the game. It's fun. But the fantasy element is completely fucking destroyed when you meet this fucking character. It is so fucking bad, dude. It's so fucking cringe.
They couldn't leave it alone.
They really kicked themselves in the nut. They could not. They had to inject their bullshit in this game, and they ruined it themselves. But for a fair review and my experience of the game, it'll be fair. The review will be fair. But yeah, Tosh is just Mick 992. I mean, you're right though. I mean, like, it's so out of whack. Like, even in that game with that kind of, if some of the personalities meet, that character is still out of whack for the game. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It was really like a pushed character. Like, they had to have it, knowing it didn't belong in the story.
I bet the Gendermancer.
And that's what it felt like. The dialogue, the voice acting, everything like that.
That's the Gendermancer. That's
it's all the Gendermancer. That dude, girl, whatever the fuck he is.
That's his character or her character. Or
that's their character. It is
your characters,
and they couldn't. Besides that, like, I made my character a tough fucking warrior guy. He talks like it. You know what I mean? Like, in my playthrough, he talks and he rallies the troops and shit. Cool dialogue for him. And some of the other characters aren't bad. Like, I actually like Nev's not a bad character, dude. Like, she's not. She's a detective, but her like story, her companion missions that you do with her are pretty cool because you work like a detective trying to solve cases and stuff like that. So it's not bad. Who else? I forget the name of the other Grey Warding in your party, but he's not bad either. But Tosh, like, just way out of fucking left field, dude. Like, way out.
Well, we don't want to give it away. Don't give it away.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it Friday.
Yeah, but anyway,
because you're getting worked up. Relax.
Yeah, but it just amazes me how they dude. It amazes me how they fuck their own game, dude. Like,
well,
they fuck their own game to inject non-binary. I'm non-binary at the fucking dinner table. Like, that's what she said. I'm non-binary to her mother. Like, this is our own Western shit. Western woke politics in a fucking high fantasy game.
You didn't try to seduce her?
Fuck no. I tried everything in my possible dialogue choices to tell her to shut the fuck up. But you really can't. Like, you have to do her missions to open up shit. Because I'm trying to level up my gear, like, into a different grade, like from purple to legendary. and I got to find these pieces, and the treasure chest and these dragon bosses you got to fight with her and her companion quest are locked behind that.
Mm.
And then it was like, well, you don't have to play her. You can just don't do any quests and you let her kill. But then you miss like a shit ton of fucking fights and loot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't I want all that?
Yeah.
So they
we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. So we're here for the short podcast today. We're going to talk. We got a request to do another top 10. It was our top 10 consoles of all time. Ed, there's a lot of fucking consoles out there. There's a lot of them.
This is really hard top 10, dude.
It really is.
For me, it was really hard.
This is now again, guys.
Who requested this? Do you have the name?
It was on didn't catch it.
It's a comment?
Yeah, it was a comment.
On which video, you know?
You'll see it. Go to the comments. You'll see it.
Go to comments?
Yeah. You know.
Well, thanks, Grant.
That's how you do stuff. Is go to the comments.
Oh, go to the comments.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, top. All right, Craig Fletcher. Thanks, buddy. All right, we got it. This is what he said. Top 10 console guys. Just a side note, Victoria's Secret is that they're really all biological men.
That's what we talk about. Top 10 Victoria's Secret models.
That's good. All right. Yeah, thanks, Craig Fletcher. Appreciate it. Okay. All right.
Now, hold on. I was going to say, there's some good consoles. There's some great consoles. There's some really awful consoles. But we're not going to talk about those.
Yeah, let's not talk about the awful ones.
We'll talk about that for another day, but we will talk about them.
Okay.
So, Ed, we're going to let you lead it off this time since I did the honors last time. And you're going to your top 10.
My top 10.
Number 10, sorry.
Number 10. Sega Genesis, bud.
Okay.
All right. You know, hey, Sega Genesis, Sonic the Hedgehog, and they directly competed with Nintendo. Yeah. When everyone at that time, I remember, thought that Nintendo was unstoppable. Like they did it because they whooped Atari's ass, right? Kind of put them in the back seat. And then Sega dropped it, and Sonic the Hedgehog was such a big success. I mean, hell, you got movies on Sonic. Think about all the Sonic stuff we have nowadays.
There's more Sonic movies than Mario movies.
Yeah, and just Sega Genesis actually felt like an arcade experience compared to what Super Nintendo was.
Do you remember what their slogan was? Their big slogan?
Mm-mm.
In the wars, it was Sega does what Nintendo don't.
That's kind of stupid.
It's kind of stupid, but I ain't gonna lie. But I bet this is what they did in the boardroom. Oh shit!
Yeah. All right, but yeah, Sega Genesis is my top 10 or my number 10.
Okay, my number 10 is a console that I was too poor to have, but I always wanted. I always wanted this console.
What's that?
The Neo Geo.
You talked about that a lot in prior podcasts.
Yes, man. I always Dude, I was such a fan of the SNK fighting games, Fatal Fury.
They were really good.
Samurai Showdown, World Fighter, whatever, King of Fighters, all that.
Yeah, all those.
Yeah,
you play the hell out of those in arcades all the
time. And the thing about it is when this console came out, I didn't grasp the concept of money. So when this thing was like $700, I was like, oh my God, this is out of my, I'll never ever have one of these.
Yeah.
But this was the only console that actually had like the graphics from the arcade on the console. And I thought that was the coolest thing. Like, cause even on Super Nintendo at the time, you didn't have that, you know?
Yeah.
So I was just like, man, this is unbelievable. I only knew one person that had one of these. And I also didn't know that the games were also like $200. So you had to be rich to have this console.
Yeah, it was very.
This console, when it came out, was only marketed to one set of people, and it was the wealthy.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it was probably like the high wealthy. Yeah, but I always wanted a Neo Geo just because they looked. It was like the actual arcade at home.
Yeah. So that's your number. So Neo Geo and Sega Genesis are 10s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, Grant. Number 9. Let me pull this up. All right, number 9, Grant. Believe it or not, I got Sony PlayStation 4 as my number 9.
Okay.
PlayStation 4. But they really... So I put this in my top 10 because of the exclusives, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that came out. I mean, you had Last of Us Part 1. I'm not going to mention Part 2. Last of Us, the first one. And God of War.
Yeah.
And so many others.
Yep.
This was really big time on like major blockbuster exclusives. I mean, you had it before, but these were like blockbuster
Yeah.
exclusives. God of War was insane. So that's my number 9.
Okay. My number 9 is one that I got for Christmas. It was the Game Gear. The Game Gear was cool because it brought this was like one of the first colored consoles. I don't know if it was the first colored console.
See, I didn't put handhelds. Well, besides one, but mainly main gen consoles. I didn't put handhelds in it.
Well, it's a console.
Technically, it's a handheld console.
Okay, well they didn't specify. So anyway, I remember getting Sonic. It came with Sonic 2 or something like that, and it was cool because it was like playing Sonic on a handheld. It was better. Graphics were better than the Game Boy.
Way better.
And all the only thing that was ass was the batteries. Like if you had to put like 7 batteries in this thing, and it lasted for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So you had to get like you
had to be stocked up.
Well, not only that, you had to have the adapter, like the thing that plugged in the wall, the AC adapter. You had to have that if you wanted to play this at home. And if you wanted to play this on the road, you had to have like the car adapter. But I'm pretty sure it'd probably like drain your car battery as you're. I don't even think the alternator would keep up with how much power.
I don't think cars were adapted for the Game
Gear.
No,
I don't. So it was almost impossible to like take this on a road trip unless you're just going to the store.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, the Game Gear, I had one. I actually probably still got it somewhere. I need to find it. Was my number 9.
Nice. All right, Grant. My number 8 is Nintendo.
Okay.
This was I didn't have an Atari growing up.
No,
I did not have an Atari growing up. I had a friend that had an Atari that I used to play on his Atari. But a Nintendo was my first ever system.
Gotcha.
Our first ever console. And we talked about our top 10 NES games last podcast. But I mean, just all those games on it.
Yeah.
Classic games that began everything for a lot of series. Metroid, Legend of Zelda. Think about what happened to that after the first game dropped. And it's insane.
Yeah.
What else? Mega Man. All those classics started on a Nintendo. And Final Fantasy, Dragon Warrior, all those games, man. Nintendo was an easy top 10 for me, just for memory experience.
Yeah, okay. My number 8 is the PlayStation 4. And for the same reasons you said, it was a breath of fresh air from the PlayStation 3, which I didn't really like. I wouldn't put the PlayStation 3 in my top 10 anywhere. I probably wouldn't put it in my top 20. But it was it like you said, all the exclusives and things like that, the graphics upgrades and stuff like that. It actually worked it was actually pretty good for TV, at the time. So just being able to get back into the real world gaming and stuff like that with the PlayStation 4 was good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. All right, Grant, number 7. My number 7 is the first Xbox.
Okay.
You know why?
Halo.
Just Halo.
Yeah.
Just Halo, dude. I played Halo for a good 2 years. We used to connect all the Xbox Ones, in the same room, face the TVs away, and just go at Halo, like with friends. And then in college.
Oh boy, we did.
Yeah. I mean, Halo was that was it.
I remember coming over. That was
the game back then.
I remember you just showing up at my house. I'd be asleep and I hear, I'm like, how'd this guy get in my house?
Yeah, dude. I used to be a beast at that game.
I know. I was like, did I give you a key that I didn't know about? Because here you are. You're just like sitting up. You're like, hey, what's up?
I remember being able to shoot people almost across the map with a fucking pistol.
No, you're good with it. I remember
2-shot head and 2 shots to the head, done.
No, you're good. You're good with it. I remember that.
But yeah, that's my number 7.
My number 7 is the Game Boy original. Being in black and white wasn't an issue back in the day, because it had pretty cool games.
Yeah.
Link's Adventure was one of them. I remember having this. This was actually the first one, and technically the battery actually held up pretty well for what it was. But all the Marios, but basically trying to bring all the Nintendo exclusives to the the handheld and stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. Now, the only downfall was it like you would have to make sure you're in like a dark area, like you couldn't be out in the sun and play it, like because then you couldn't see the screen at all. Um, but I remember playing Mario. What was the Mario on there? Was it Mario the one something about the coins or something like that? I can't remember what it was
I
called.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, man, I just remember a lot of memories with that one. So mine's the Game Boy, the original one. I don't, and it also launched like Pokemon and all that stuff as well.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Like the original ones.
Yeah. All right. Where were we at? Number 7 or
Nope.
6?
No, yeah, 6.
6. Okay. Number 6, Grant. I'm going with the PlayStation 5.
PlayStation 5. Okay.
Yeah, new gen up in the top 10. PlayStation 5, dude. Sony itself, I would say, is the reason why Sony is really in a lot of my in a lot of systems are in my top 10 because of just their catalog, dude.
Yeah.
And PlayStation 5 did the same thing as PlayStation 4 did. The catalog, right? Exclusives. Exclusives has been a big winner for Sony for these past several years, honestly, I'd say for the past 8 years.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been kicking everyone's ass with these exclusives to the Sony. So I had to put PlayStation 5 in there just due to the fact because, you got Returnal, Spider-Man, all these other things that are coming out. And they get big time on the Japanese RPGs.
Mhm.
Like, they really get the Japanese, those Japanese RPGs that kind of slide under the table, but some of them are really good. Sony always gets those.
Yeah.
So I'm going with PlayStation 5.
Okay. My number 6 is the Nintendo 64.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I remember getting one of these for Christmas. And I was like, "Oh my god, the graphics would never get better than this." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Playing Mario 64 for the first time and stuff like that, dude. Like that was just a whole game-changing experience. Now don't get me wrong, they had it was kind of slow formats at the beginning. I remember because they didn't quite have the catalog. They didn't quite get better until like later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is weird. They never had a Metroid on Nintendo 64, which I thought would have been pretty cool.
Nope, that ain't coming to the Wii.
Yeah. But I remember the best game, of course, Ocarina of Time, when that came out. I mean,
that and Super Mario Super Mario 64. Those two games made the system.
yeah,
in my
exactly,
opinion.
exactly.
But they were such awesome games.
Yep. Yeah, and they had some fighting games on there too.
Yeah,
That
they had
Killer
a few
Instinct
other
Gold,
good ones.
Turok.
GoldenEye,
Oh yeah, dude,
that was
GoldenEye.
great.
Yeah, Mission
Yeah.
Impossible was good too.
That was like the thing before Halo was
Yeah.
GoldenEye.
Yep.
Think about it. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, N64, great system. I wanted to put them on my top 10, but it's just because I played really 3 games on that damn thing.
Yeah, no, I know.
You know what I mean?
2 of them were Castlevania.
Yeah. Well, I did play those Castlevanias, but I'm talking about like the main ones, the Ocarina of Time,
Yeah.
Mario, and GoldenEye.
Yeah.
But besides that, like I played the Castlevanias, but those are okay.
Do you remember Quest 64?
Yes, I did play that, and I couldn't stand it. Okay, all right.
We're on number 5.
Number 5.
Mm-hmm.
My number 5 is Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo. Okay.
Yeah. Super Nintendo, dude. I think this is the system that I have the most memories with.
Okay.
I was still kind of young for the NES. I was like, 5, 6 or something like that. Really playing into around there, playing a lot of Nintendo. But Super Nintendo is really what got me into gaming.
Mm-hmm.
With the Super Metroid, all the Final Fantasies, Final Fantasy 4 and 6, 2 and 3 in the US, Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
What else? So many others. Oh, then Link to the Past,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and all those. Super Nintendo is the most memories for me,
Okay.
and but when it came to gaming, I didn't want to put it too high up, but Super Nintendo definitely in my top 5.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
My number 5 is the Sega Genesis. And I remember being at a crossroads at the time to pick a console. You know, you had to pick a console. You couldn't get both. We didn't. We'd only afford one. So, um, uh, ultimately, I ended up getting the SNES. But the Sega Genesis, I remember had, of course, Sonic and stuff like that. I thought Sonic looked cooler than Mario.
It's more
Just
fast. It's
yeah,
faster.
that. Um, I always thought that the Sega Genesis looked more colorful. Like, you know what I mean? Like the colors were
It
brighter.
did. Yeah, it
Yeah.
did. It had more
Um,
pop on its pixels. It
yeah.
did.
Um, and then I remember Mortal Kombat. Like, I was like, why can't the Super Nintendo have blood? You remember the blood code and all this other stuff
Mhm.
for the Sega. But man, I don't know. It was just they had different games that that Super Nintendo didn't have that seemed cooler. But overall, you know, I know I made the right choice, but I always wanted a Sega Genesis. I never had one.
Yeah.
But a Sega Genesis was my number 5.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, Grant, my number 4.
Mhm.
Another Xbox. Xbox 360, dude.
Okay.
Xbox 360 was a great fucking console, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it really was. I'm not talking about Series X and Xbox One. I'm talking about 360.
Mhm.
You can be whatever PlayStation fanboy, whatever Nintendo fanboy, but you got to admit one thing: 360 actually was a great console,
Yeah.
and really was the golden age of Xbox gaming.
Yeah.
It brought multiplayer. It brought multiplayer on the map.
Yeah.
Like when it came to gaming, 360 did. It really brought the multiplayer experience into gaming. And you can just talk about all the Halos, but 360 was just a very good console. And I had a 360 um, way before I got a PS3. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, I
I
remember that.
did. I mean, I
Yeah.
really I had a 360 before I got a PS3. And it's a kind of good thing because PS3 didn't make it on my top 10.
They didn't make
Um,
it on mine either.
yeah, it didn't make it. But 360 was a great console. Nelson says you made the correct choice with SNES. Yes,
I
we
did.
did.
I did.
Um, but yeah, 360 great console. All right.
My number 4 is the PlayStation 1. The first PlayStation.
Yep.
Dude, my memory is really good, and it's probably going to be the last thing that goes for me in the end one day. Um, I remember like I mean, you could also buy them, but I remember you could rent the consoles from the video store. We had like a local video store. We didn't have Blockbuster in our little town. Um, so you could rent them. And so I remember renting a PlayStation for the first time, and I'll never forget the first games I played was Tekken.
Yep.
Uh, what was it? NFL Game Day '95, and some machine game that my brother, got. It was some like mech game, like I can't remember. But the sad thing about it is you couldn't rent the memory card, so
Yeah.
you can only just like play it. But I remember like that being like playing those games. I was like, oh my god, like this is so much better than this, because I had a Super Nintendo. This is so much better than the Super Nintendo. Like just the graphics and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know, I was like, this is truly like the next gen. Like that's like the first time I actually felt like we were stepping into the future of gaming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And of course, the great games, Final Fantasy VII, all that, just the RPG. I mean, the SquareSoft's golden age of RPGs
Yeah.
was here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, so that's my number 4.
Yeah. Nelson said the OG Xbox was underrated. Xbox has been garbage since 360, though. That's typical fanboy response. Come on, Nelson. All right. So guess what?
I
My number.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, we know you do because you never played it you never owned an Xbox console. All right. So my number 3 is guess what?
Right.
Being a gamer, all encompassing gamer, my number 3 is Sony PlayStation 1.
PlayStation 1.
Yep. All right. PlayStation 1, dude. Let's talk PlayStation 1.
Okay.
First off, it had Final Fantasy 7, we can talk about that all the time. But what it really brought was that live action movie stuff. You know what I mean? Like on all those early games before they went to pure CGI,
Yeah.
they had all those live action movie, like Soviet Strike. I used to play those helicopter games all the time.
Remember that chick?
Yeah, the chick that, yeah, exactly. But like Soviet Strike had like a guy feeding you intelligence like a real person,
Mhm.
and they had the movie cutscenes to do that to explain the mission.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool as hell. I
Yeah.
thought I was like actually going on missions and stuff with
Mhm.
my super Apache. But yeah, dude, PlayStation 1, I mean, I could argue between my top 3 of that going on any spot there, really, because
Yeah.
PlayStation 1 was so good.
Yeah.
So that makes what 1, 2, 3. This is my third Sony system that I have so far on my
Okay.
top 10.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Grant.
My number 3 is the NES.
It's a good one.
Just because I played this one the most, had the overall the Nintendo, the regular Nintendo, pound for pound, probably has the best games of any console. Just the library, you know what I mean? They had 700 games. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, out of the 700 games, 400 of them were probably doo doo, and then half of that was probably just okay. But the ones that were really good were really good. You know what I mean? Classics, can't be imitated type games.
Well, obviously, because they never made another damn Chrono Trigger.
Well, no,
we're not talking about Chrono Cross.
no. I'm talking about the Nintendo. No, we're talking about the Nintendo, not the Super Nintendo.
Nintendo. Okay.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is like you can't remake that feeling you had for when those games came out. Like you can't remake the feeling you had of Mike Tyson's Punch Out. You can't remake the feeling you had. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So I think pound for pound, the NES has the best collection of games. I think their best games are better than everybody else's best games.
Yeah.
Just for, you know what I mean?
Yeah, to me though, it's still like Super Nintendo is still the more memorable one.
We'll get there.
You know what I mean? Super
We'll
Nintendo.
Get there.
Yeah. Okay, Grant. What is it? Number 2?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Grant, my number 2. Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo Switch, okay.
Dude, I played a Nintendo Switch more than anything I own. I got a Series X right here. I got a PlayStation 5 right here.
It's so simple, but yet so
I played
fun.
the Switch, and my daughter, my son, and I both have a Switch.
Mm-hmm.
They love the Switch. My daughter has a PS4. My son has an Xbox One. No wonder he doesn't play that, but they love the Switch. And we play all those multiplayer games together. To me, as a family man, I had to put the Switch in the top because I played this game since I've had kids. The Switch and the Switch first came out when my daughter was, she was what was she? She was 3. She played Zelda with me, and that was her first ever video game.
God,
Breath of the Wild.
That long? Jeez, man.
Breath of the Wild was her first ever video game, and she played it and she beat it at a very young age. And that was the same as me with Legend of Zelda on Nintendo.
Yeah,
that was the first ever video game I ever beat.
Mm-hmm.
But Switch is just, I played it more than anything, and it has great titles on it, fun titles, that are very family friendly. So I had to put it on there just due to the play time and the thing that it's just a family console. You know what I mean? And it's really catered to a family. All right, Grant, you're number 2.
My number 2 is the SNES. It's the Super Nintendo.
It's a good one.
And I remember getting this for Christmas, and I can distinctly remember the first 3 games I got or played. It was Mario because it came with it. It was ActRaiser. I rented ActRaiser, and then I rented Street Fighter 2.
ActRaiser was legit, dude.
It was cool because it was a mixture between like SimCity and like fighting action.
Yeah,
2D
it was cool. Side-scrolling fighting.
Yeah. Now, like I said, with the NES, I think their overall catalog could go pound for pound with anybody. Super Nintendo's RPGs have the best RPGs pound for pound for any console. Doesn't matter. You can't. There's nothing you can say to convince me otherwise. I don't want to hear about the next gen stuff. You're talking about Final Fantasy IV. You're talking about Final Fantasy VI. You're talking about Chrono Trigger, Secret of Evermore, Secret of Mana.
Those are all god tier games.
Yes, exactly.
Our last tier list.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like Super Nintendo had the best RPGs on any console, regardless. I'm not, and I'm talking about pound for pound. When I mean pound for pound, I'm talking about
put them on the map, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they did. They put RPGs on the map.
And there's a lot of other ones that people don't talk about. Seventh Saga.
Exactly.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just
You had Mystic Quest. You had a bunch
Mystical,
of
yeah.
other ones. You had
And
all
that's the
the Secret of Mana, Secret of Evermore. You had
Yep.
all those. I mean, Squaresoft, dude.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And so don't
Seven
get me
Saga was actually Enix game.
yeah,
Think about that.
yeah,
That's when they were just Enix.
yep. And so the thing about it is like, so don't get me wrong, Final Fantasy VII is a god tier game, but I'm talking about as a conglomerate, the Super Nintendo had the best RPGs still to this day.
Yeah.
Like you can't that's why people won't that's why you Breath of Fire. Like, you know what I mean?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. So that's the thing is, so like that's why you hear so many people wanting to remake these games from this console instead of other games.
Yeah.
And I guarantee me and you got the same number 1, but go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
Super Nintendo definitely a juggernaut
Yep.
of a console. All right, so our number 1, easy, PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2.
I mean, let's be real. It's the greatest console today ever made.
Yep.
Catalog,
Yep, to this day.
everything.
Yep, it's the best console to this day. And we can both go in on it. This game introduced so many big franchises like Grand Theft Auto 3 or whatever. NBA Streets, NBA Live, all the sports games.
God of War.
God of
really
War.
went
Yeah,
off on this
all that,
one,
man,
on
all
this
the like
console.
fighting games galore. I mean, God, like where do you what else
Back
can you
when
talk about?
Kratos was just a bad motherfucker.
Yeah,
I love those God of Wars.
and even though like they had a very good collection of RPG games. Final Fantasy 9. Wait, no,
Yep.
Final Fantasy 9 was that
No,
the
that's
first one? I can't remember. It's been so long. I don't think it was. I think it started on Final Fantasy 10.
yeah,
But Final
10.
Fantasy 12
Yeah.
and all this other stuff. Yeah, Final Fantasy 9 was on the first one. But man, just a conglomerate of games, dude.
It had a huge library, but also had I would say genre defining also games released on it that are sequels still out today on them. But it really had those. It was just packed with bestsellers.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it
Greatest
was
hits
just
games, all this,
ridiculous.
yeah.
Like Sony went off on this one,
Yeah.
but PlayStation 2, yeah,
My favorite fighting game on this game was Tekken Tag.
yeah,
Love Tekken Tag, man.
yep, great console.
Yep.
All right, Grant.
So that is our greatest consoles top 10. If you have a top 10 you want us to talk about, drop it. Let us know. We'll do it on the next one.
Yeah, give us a top 10.
It could be a top 10 anything. It could be, here's the thing is, it doesn't have to be the best. It could be the worst.
Yeah,
So top 10, yeah,
worst
whatever.
whatever consoles of all time.
Yeah, we can do that.
That one actually filled with. I already know my number 1 for that one.
Oh God.
For the worst console.
Uh-huh.
Well, I know my top 3. My top 3, and a couple of them involve Xbox.
No, man.
Okay, Grant. Next week, or no, this Friday, if we don't get a top 10, if we do, then we'll do a top 10 also. But our major subject this Friday is Dragon Age: The Veilguard review.
Mm-hmm. The official DMG Gaming Podcast review.
A real review with you hear everything from both sides, right? Compacting, right?
Yep.
All right, let's get a review from someone that going 100% the game. And I take a little from both sides, but I want to tell you my experience.
Yeah.
All right.
Unless the world goes into chaos between now and then.
Oh yeah, dude.
We might not have internet, so we'll see.
I mean, this is going to be crazy, huh?
These buckle up, boys.
And then I need to still go vote today, Grant.
Yep. Go put on your lapel pin.
Yep.
White dudes for Harris.
Don't put that evil on me, dude.
Nah, I'm just playing.
That's messed up.
Your
That's
mother
like
would,
the worst thing you could say to man.
Your mother would disown you. She would never
Yeah,
speak
she
to you
would.
again.
I know. My dad would raise from the grave and strangle me if I did that.
He'd be like, "What'd you do?"
All right, Grant, go ahead and end it.
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Go follow us on YouTube. Go follow us on Twitter. Go follow us on TikTok, Instagram, all the good stuff. This podcast will be up later on wherever you get your podcast from: Apple, Spotify, Napster. Is Napster still around? I don't know. Who knows?
No idea.
So anyway, guys, we'll see y'all Friday. Y'all have a good one. Go vote. Peace.
Peace.